All right, let's go back to the Union Buildings now, where we do have contact with our reporter on the scene, Chriselda Lewis. Chriselda, a very good afternoon to you. Do tell us what's happening at the march. We hear rubber bullets have been fired. What can you confirm for us?
Well, Alicia, the situation is fairly calm here on the southern lawns of the Union Buildings, where you can see here thousands of EFF supporters and members have gathered demanding to go into or onto the premises of the Union Buildings. The gates have been locked. We've gone to several of the entrances leading to the seat of power, and you'll find that all of those entrances are manned by police, and these EFF supporters and members are not being allowed to go onto the premises. We are hearing word at this stage. We heard the EFF leader Julius Malema negotiating with police a bit earlier on, wanting to go onto the lawns. Just in front of me at the moment here, where you might not be able to see, we see some barbed wire that is also being brought in to the Union Buildings at this point to try and cordon off the areas here where the EFF members and supporters have gathered. Now, a bit earlier on, there had been rubber bullets and stun grenades that had been fired when the march had gone from Church Square to here, the Union Buildings. After that announcement in court, we saw the EFF leader Julius Malema announce then that these thousands of members and supporters should make their way from Church Square to the Union Buildings, and that's when we saw some shops that were being looted, including bottle stores. We saw quite a lot of people who had set up shop in the Pretoria CBD also closed shop, and police really trying to get a hand of the situation, but no one is being allowed onto the premises of the Union Buildings at this point. A lot of police reinforcement is being brought in at this stage, but what the EFF leader is saying is all they're demanding is to go onto the lawns of the Union Buildings. You would know that they have been calling for President Jacob Zuma to resign, and I think in particular now, following the ruling by the court that the so-called state capture report should be released at 5 o'clock this afternoon. So what these supporters and members of the EFF, you can see there some very dramatic scenes that we're also seeing. Others have even occupied some of the trees there, have managed to make their way up there to try and get a glimpse of the thousands that we're seeing here at this point. But a very strong police presence as expected. We saw that very early on this morning. But of course now, with the EFF's decision to come to the Union Buildings demanding the resignation of President Jacob Zuma, a lot of more police reinforcement is being brought in. You can see also here the barbed wire, more of the barbed wire that's being brought in at this point. Some of the water cannons as well that were used earlier to try and disperse the crowd have also been brought in here at the Union Buildings. But the situation fairly calm at this point, but very not telling exactly what will take place in the next hour following that announcement by the EFF leader Julius Malema saying that they should wait for at least an hour, and that police had indicated that they were going to bring the keys to allow these EFF members and supporters onto the lawns of the Union Buildings. It certainly doesn't seem like that's going to take place at this point, as they've been waiting for quite some time now. You see their police are also coming much closer to the gate at the stage. I did see a few stones being flung towards, well, police now walking towards the gate here, where, well, we see one of the EFF members there also trying to be in conversation with police. Police have been manning one of these gates since about an hour ago now, and they're of course indicating that they're not going to allow anyone through these gates at this point. So lots of discussions I see being held between the EFF leadership as well as the police, and trying to reach some kind of consensus. But police certainly not moving back on this one, as many of them are also roaming the southern lawns just at the gate where we are here, Alicia.
Is there anybody in particular that the EFF wants to particularly meet with inside the Union Buildings in order to hand over their grievances or demands? Do you know?
EFF leadership, together with their supporters and members, are quite adamant. They're adamant that President Jacob Zuma should resign. There's no talk absolutely at this stage about who they plan to hand that memorandum of demands to, but all they're saying is that they want to enter the gates of the seat of power, and they want to send a clear message that following the ruling by the court this afternoon, that the Public Protector's report should be released. And given that President Jacob Zuma had also withdrawn his interdict to stop the release of the former Public Protector's report, then they believe this is enough grounds for President Jacob Zuma to resign. And of course, we know that President Jacob Zuma is in Zimbabwe in talks with the president of Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe. We know he's also accompanied by the Home Affairs Minister, Malusi Gigaba. Those talks are ongoing, bilateral talks are ongoing there. So as to who exactly will accept whatever memorandum of demands, we see there Julius Malema, as well as Floyd Shabambu and Godrich Kadi are now coming towards the police here, and I would suspect that they would want, I'll just try and get my microphone very close there to see if we can actually get some sound of the discussions that are taking place there.
That's the first thing. That means we can't do anything now. We can't open it. Second thing is, I am told that you never have a right to come this side with your march. Your march should end at Church Square. For us to allow it to come this side, it was just a favor. But to go further than this is not allowed to happen. So I'm told really that I cannot open the gate. We cannot do anything by means of breaking or what. I cannot do that, because if I do that, it's unlawful, it's wrong. Looking to one thing as well, this is a national key point, we cannot do that. And the other thing that has actually put another position, in a situation to another position is that we have the Paul Kruger station now on fire. And that one as well on its own, it becomes a problem to us now to say, are we really having the cooperation we need from your side? I know very well you control the people when you came here, but there's another situation now. The Paul Kruger station now is on fire as well. But those are the things actually becomes a problem. But to open the gate now is totally not going to be possible for us. And as well, to forcefully open it is not the right thing to do.
No, we try to give you a peaceful march. And we try to help you. So we'll just go and give the report. They will see what to do.
Well, there you have it, Alicia. You can see the leadership of the EFF had just been in talks there with the South African Police Service, who are manning all the entrances. Where we are at the moment, where the EFF leadership and the police had just been in conversation, is on the southern lawns, and negotiations there, of course, to try and allow the EFF members and supporters onto the premises of the union buildings at this stage. But police certainly do not seem to be budging at this point. If you could just look towards the southern direction here, more police are moving towards the entrance of exactly where we are at this point. And what it seems as if will take place now, we see the EFF members are moving towards the truck that has been set up there to try and perhaps address the EFF members and supporters. But police are coming much closer now to the fence here on the southern lawns, and they've been standing quite far back and are actually moving much closer now, as some of the EFF supporters have also now sat on the fence here on the entrance of the southern lawns. We're not sure at this stage if the EFF leadership will address its members at this stage, but police, in what seems to be now police moving much closer here. Alicia, at this stage, there's absolutely no telling what will take place here at the union buildings.
Chriselda, maybe just while we're on that subject, we've just heard from the police official there saying that the Paul Kruger station is on fire. We know that the DA is currently holding a separate march, but around the Pretoria CBD, and they are going to the magistrates' courts. Do tell us, do you have any connection between these two marches? Are they any way related?
Alicia, I'm really struggling to hear you at this point. If you could just kindly repeat yourself.
Yes, Chriselda, I just wanted confirmation from you. We just heard from the police official there saying that the Paul Kruger station has currently been set on fire. Do we know if it has anything to do with the marches with the EFF? Because we're also aware that the DA in the interim is holding their separate march, and they are marching to a magistrate's court in the Pretoria CBD. Is there any relation between these two marches? Do you know?
Well, Alicia, I'm really struggling to hear you at this point due to the noise here. But what we can say at this point is that so far, many of the leadership of the political parties that had been marching in Pretoria since this morning have distanced themselves from any violence that we have seen in the Pretoria CBD from this morning into this afternoon. We saw bottle stores, we saw a number of shops as well that had been looted, and there's been massive condemnation. I must remind you, a bit earlier on this morning, we had seen some of the EFF supporters and members who became very violent towards some of the other members who were behaving unruly in the Pretoria CBD, and had basically accused them of wanting to hijack what they said would be a peaceful march to simply demand that President Jacob Zuma resign. And of course, you recall the other demands since this morning, calls for free education and against what they've been referring to as state capture. So the leadership of both the Democratic Alliance and the EFF have been condemning the acts of violence that we have seen since this morning. Well, it does look like now the EFF leadership is now going to announce it's going to speak to the membership. Let's just take that live there, Alicia.
Let's call each other to come and gather so that we can hear the way forward from here. All of us, comrades.
Well, Alicia, we're just going to try and move a bit closer to that.
Please come in front. Let's allow the marshals